Welcome back to Stationeers, and it's time to really take our basic version of depressurization and pressurization, take it further, and get full pressurization, throughout the base through the filtration loop. So I've taken out a couple of the walls while we're depressurized, so I can show you some things that we intend to do. As I said, I'm probably going to put these higher up because they're going to be going permanently, or have some kind of setup where they are permanent. Again, I'm not going to use these because they are quite noisy, and once things are pressurized and I lift my mask, it's going to be even clearer that noise is going on. So keep this as quiet as possible. Let's start over here, shall we? So over here in this corner I've not mined before, so I've taken the walls out and the blocks out, and we pop down here and underneath, and we pop all the way across, and it turns out we've got a silver base, a silver mine near our base. You may have different ideas. And up here is our vent setup that we set, our valve setup that we set up. Stuck. Need my jetpack again. That we set up last episode but one. So we've got a route here that we can get pipe up and out in this corner. So the idea is so that we have gas coming in at one corner and going out at the one corner. We get a nice amount of flow throughout the room rather than having them next to each other, just in case there's any buildup of any gases. So as long as there's some airflow going, I don't much mind what. So how are we going to set this up then? Well, what I think I'm going to do is on one wall, and it doesn't matter which, except that one, if we just pop out here for a second, you'll see where we are. Just in case you haven't seen the previous episodes. Well, let me just pop out here, and I need my drill. I need my drill on. Okay, let's just step up here a little bit. Clear a little more space out, because now I can't really walk across there anymore. That's fine, it's enough to just get out. So underneath the filtration setup we have, my jetpack's still on. So up there are our filters, filtration units on the roof, just like an air conditioner. So we're going to need to take up a pipe from a passive vent, and it depends how good these filtration units are at pumping. They must have some kind of built-in pump, because anytime I put any system, if we pop down in here, pop down, anytime I put any canister in here and unlock this, it sucks it straight out into the filtration system. So either there's a vacuum going on there, or there is some kind of pump going that way. Same thing here, if I put any kind of ores in there that emit gases, all goes up into the filtration system. So before I try to force any kind of airflow, what I want to do is just put a passive vent on the input, which is right here, and then we'll run that passive sort of setup all the way down here, all the way underneath, and then to a vent on the wall. Then what we're going to need to do, let's just pop up here for a second, and see where I've labelled oxygen. You have pipe labels, they're quite useful, but I'm probably going to go with spray cans for the future. I think they're just easier to identify than putting labels everywhere. These are kind of convenient. We're going to have those. I'm going to put a T-junction on there or further up. That cable is annoying now in the wrong place, but of course the ores are going to be at some point. So yeah, I'm going to put a T-junction in, and we're going to take a T-junction out. We're going to bring a pipe all the way down here and probably to a large tank, just like we have in the back. That large tank is going to do the job of a kind of buffer. If our room is full, let's just get around here. If that large tank is going to collect oxygen, and I would do nitrogen oxygen, except for the fact that I don't have enough nitrogen. So for the time being, I'm going to go for pure oxygen. And then we're going to have a tank just like this one with the oxygen in, alongside a pipe that's going to lead to another vent, whichever side I choose for the other vent. That vent, however, isn't going to be passive. It's going to have a regulator on it. That regulator is probably going to try and provide that vent with, I don't know, maybe 30, 40k? Enough for it to be breathable in here. And then if there's any more than that, it shouldn't try to overforce the issue. It should keep things in the tank, which is behind the regulator. Hopefully that's clear, but let me do some pipe work and get back to it, and then you'll see for yourself, hopefully, that it's, well, it should be understandable. Okay, so most of the difficult pipe work's out of the way now. We just have to hook everything up and get it running. well, hopefully running anyway. So I'm going to need some power. Have we got any power under here? I think we've got some over there. Do I have enough cable? I might do. I've put a pipe meter in just so I can monitor this pipe and by extension what's in this tank, so I can just look at this without ripping the walls out. I don't need that data port at the moment, but it might be nice to have it in the future or maybe later this episode, depending on how I feel. But having this is a good compromise. Above that we've got a pipe pressure regulator. So again, we're going to set that to whatever we want our room to be. And then I think we're going to pull up the floor. Let's just move this extremely noisy thing, get it out of the way. And let's just pull up the floor and see what electronic cable I've got accessible. Whoops, no. Drop you. So I decided to go on this side with the passive. This goes all the way underneath there, up into the input of the filtration. So we'll see how good it is at pulling air from the room effectively, or oxygen in our case, plus the pollutants and whatever else. Then from the other side of it comes this line, and it comes to that oxygen tank connection up there all the way down. There's a broken pipe, so it's not going to be active at the moment. As you can see, this pipe pressure is 0, even with the valve. See, still 0. But it will let me see, as long as this system is on, what is in the tank, so that's good. Let's just get some of this sorted, and let's change over to the cutters. And let's just go for junctions. I'm almost tempted, apart from the fact that the junction is slightly more expensive, I'm almost tempted to use them pretty much all the time. But they are good. So let's just pop you in. All the way over here, and I think it just goes straight up to get into that. Again, tempted to just use junctions. Yeah, I will in this case, because this is going to be covered by a wall unit, remember, so we don't have to worry about it too much. And I think I'm going to put another junction in here. Do I have room? Probably just about. It's like a 1 pixel selection area. There we go. So I have to go for a junction, I think. Because I want to go that way in future and I can't go through the pipe. Can I get a corner in just to hook this up? Yes, I can. Good. So everything should be fine. Yep, pressure regulator comes on. So we can put that flooring back down. Where did I put you? Grab the floor grating, and that's still the wrong way around. On the floor grating the other way. There we go. Let's close you off. Okay, so that's that setup. Let's go and leave that on the valve closed at the moment. I guess we could. I can't swap those around. I don't think I can put them right next to those. This is okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is seal the room, I think. We're going to need to do that first. So let's just go and grab some iron sheets and a welder. And I'm not going to cover the walls or anything at the moment. I just want to make sure that this room is as airtight as I can make it before I do any tests. And do the same thing over here. Obviously, it'll look really nice once all the walls are back in. Is that this room sealed? I think it is. As long as there isn't any issue with there being no wall behind, well, no iron frame behind that, which there isn't at the moment. So I may have to replace those. Let's go and pop upstairs and just connect everything up. Yeah, this is all okay. And all right. Cycle. Okay, so the last pipe is around here, around back, and underneath. And just before I do that, let me just double check up the top, just to show you where the input comes in. So here it is, the valve is open at the moment, so we're going to get that sorted. It comes all the way from down there, as you can see. And we'll have a look on this side. Let's just head down. And you can see This is where it comes in, all the way down, and from underneath, just look down underneath that floor that I showed you before. So that's the input. This is the output right here to our system. That goes to our oxygen tank. So let's connect this up, shall we? And that's connected. So, did I put an extra valve in? I don't think I did. I think that should now be hooked up. Yeah, you can see I've got a T-junction there. So if we go around the other side, let's see. Yep, the oxygen has dropped in pressure. It's dropped in pressure because it's all gone into that pipe, and there's a long length of the pipe. It's now stabilized, so we can pop down inside. And let's give this a pressure test, shall we? And cycle. Cutting out all the airlock bits. I need to get a faster airlock. What I may actually do, once we have pressure, is I'll see how fast it is and then put another vent in there, or maybe more vents, just to really make that as quick as possible for me. So, are we ready for this? What do we want to set the pressure to? Or what we're going to try first? Let's first of all see how much pressure we've got in the system. We've got 800 and something, 800 and change kPa. But remember that pressure, and this is something that some of the commenters I've seen aren't quite getting. They're thinking that pressure equates to amount of something. It's not. It's related to the volume. So the bigger the volume, the lower the pressure is going to be. That doesn't mean you've not got a huge amount of it, and that depends on your capacity, your actual volume. So in the pipes, in any area, open area like here, and in any tanks. So just be aware of that when you're trying. One of the commenters, it's an easy mistake to make. I think what they tried to do was take a room like this, which was pressurized at, let's say it was at 10 kPa, which is not breathable, but then set it to pump into a pipe, or the same volume, but into maybe one pipe, and the pipe, of course, blew. So yeah, that's not surprising. So let's give this a go, and let's see if we can pressurize. This is 50 kPa, 150 kPa. I think I want smaller amounts. Let's see. Can we do? Oh, not that small. Let's see. Can I just go up to? Let's try 10, shall we? Yeah. Let's see if we can get to 10. Although we've got 800, remember this is a huge room, so let's power you up. And in comes some air. Let's grab our handy little computer. So our pressure's coming up. You can see our pressure is barely readable at the moment. If you look at the very top right, it's still showing up as 0. Of course, we only got this one pressure regulator and one vent doing the job, but you know, let's leave it for a little while, because remember, it's going to be being pulled out by that filtration system as well. What I don't know is if it's going to come in faster than the filtration system is going to pull it back out. So yeah, I want to leave this to try and stabilize for a little bit, and we'll see how well it does. If it doesn't, well, then what we're probably going to have to do is put limiters on that line or something along those lines, or even more positive pressure. We can control it by positive or negative pressure. Just remember, it just matters which one we actually can do. So let's leave it for a little while, and we'll come back once it's stabilized, hopefully. Okay, so we definitely have this system. It can definitely pull the air back out as fast as it can be put it back in if there's only this one pressure regulator and the filtration system. So let's try things with a second pressure regulator, but this time in the back pressure regulator mode. Now we can rotate that around. In fact, we need to rotate it around, flip it upside down, and then rotate it, I think. Yeah, because this is the behind this thing, and it'll only trigger once it gets to something. So let's just bring you down, all the way down, and say just trigger once we get to, say, 11. A bit of clicking, but that's okay. 11. All right, and then that will trigger. So then we should be able to put a pipe in place and a valve, just in case if I want to pressurize the room or stop this being taken out again. I have a control, but by default that's just going to be on most of the time. And just for symmetry's sake more than anything else, I'll put a pipe meter in, but that's not terribly useful. Most of the time that should be vacuum or, you know, whatever. When this turns on, it will be whatever it is between it and the filtration system. Okay, so we need to put the walls back again. Let's pick up... How do am I always short of the wall materials? It must be in my backpack. One of these has got to be... Are you all iron sheets? You are all iron sheets. Good. And we can grab the welder. And then we just need to rip up the floor again to find some power somewhere. Is that power? You look like power. You are power. What have I got over here that needs power? It must be the rail for that. Oh, that's good. Lucky, but good. I don't mind that. So then we just need some cable. Where's my cable? Where's my cable, guys? Did I use it all up? Really? Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Oh, I need to go and make more cable. Fine, that's not so much of a big deal. Let's just pop outside. The other thing I was going to look at was a volume pump, but I don't think I need it in this particular case. We can obviously have a look at them again. One of the comments put down that it gives you lots of fine control about the amount of gas, and it's more likely for the furnace than anything else. So let's just eject you. We want the copper. Okay. At this point, I'm just dumping all the ingots into one machine rather than putting them in multiple. Let's pop them into there. And I think I'm going to move this battery charger down into the base, maybe, or have another one down there. That will probably be pretty good. Battery cell actually needs gold and steel, and we can make that now, so that's quite good. Let's just see if we can get some cable coil printed out, shall we? I'm going to want about 15, but that's going to take only a very few seconds. Let's just quickly take a look at this. It's only just, well, you can tell by these angles, the way this electronic works is that you get a weird reading after sundown. So what happens is instead of flipping over immediately, these will start rotating back again. So you can tell how far it is. One good thing is it's basically a clock. You can tell how far it is through the night by what angle they are. When they're facing that way again, it's just about to hit sunrise, and when they're facing this way, it's sunset. So we're about a quarter of the way through the night. Pretty good indication. Oh no! Oh! Stackers. I need to build stackers and also stop this thing from making this many coils. Cycle. Cancel. Alright, so now can I get some power? I'll have to run it on this side. I'm not going to need a junction on this one because just... Oh, that's a three-way corner. I'll leave it as a three-way corner. I'm being a bit lazy, but that is just fine. We can get it sorted. Corner. Another straight piece or two. I almost wish I could, you know, shift scroll wheel through the various rotations. I think that would be a lot faster than having to go back through our system for various things. Let's just grab you, pick you up, and put you back in. Something along those lines would be a nice workflow improvement. The lights flickered because everything gets reset when you connect to the power network, which is why we need those APCs for the airlocks, just to keep them separate. And I think we can put the floor back down. Are you all set up? Okay, back pressure regulator on. It should only kick in at 11 kPa. All the valves are on. Let's just rotate you down. And now can we open this one? Okay, we're seeing that building. Let's just go to our computer again. And you can see we're getting pressure in. But it hasn't triggered out because the LED is not on the top. So this should now continue to build. It's a bit cold, but we can solve the heating problem another time, probably next episode if we get everything else working. And we can see here a comparison between the room pressure and the pipe pressure. So let's leave that alone for a little while. Okay, so the pressure regulator's output pressure doesn't appear to be quite right with what's going on. And maybe I'm misunderstanding, it's entirely possible. But the pressure in this pipe is now 17 and rising. When I'd set this to like 11 or 12, it just wouldn't pressurize that pipe to it. It just, because this is being put out into the room. So it's just not going to do it. So instead of set it higher, I set it to 120 kPa. And as you can see, the pressure is now rising in the room. So it is actually kicking in and actually working. Although it may well be not going to pressurize us to 120. That's fine though. We're getting the yellow region. And in the world, you'll see we have pretty much pure oxygen. So we are able to pressurize from that system. The system, our tank's amount of pressure is 350 kPa, you can see. And on this side of the room, this is now starting to think it should do something, because this is set to 11 kPa. And at least that it can detect. So if we then unlock to this, what we should see is this fall, and then it should start pulling air out of the room. Now, whether this will have the same problem of not being able to deal with the pressures in these pipes versus the room next to it, may require a little bit of playing around to see how well it does. As you can see, the pressure is still rising in the room, and this is definitely off. Pipe pressure is 104 and rising, so okay, it's building up essentially. Fine. What are you doing? You're at 21, 25. So what if I now reduce you back down to 20? What would actually occur? Would you... Yep, see, we're going to fall, but are we going to fall underneath 20 now? You're going to be okay? It's staying stable. So maybe at low pressures it can't work very well. So we need, just like a vacuum pump can't work very well at low pressures, we need at least a minimum amount of pressure. Alright, makes sense. So let's bring ourselves up to, I don't know, let's try and head for 50. Same pressure as the suit. We may not make it because we may not have enough oxygen in the system. It's worth a try, isn't it? And in fact, my suit is actually higher than that. Let's turn the suit down, pressure down. Let's bring it to 50, shall we? Just what we started with when we started the game. Alright, so that's dropping to 300. It'll still continue to try and pressurize this room. Is it going to give me an oxygen low warning if I lift my visor for the first time? Unlock the mask? And why is there even a shortcut to undo the actual mask?
Temperature low.
Okay, so it's freezing in here. It's -5. We can solve that with a wall heater, I guess. Do I have a wall heater down here? Yeah, we do. So if I have a wall heater, will you go... You're only a single input, so it's not like a pass-through like a radiator. What are you actually going to do with the heat? Or how are you generating the heat? Because if it's just... Is it just power? Yeah, it's just power. So I guess we could put the wall heater right here and rotate it. I was expecting to heat the gas, but if it's not going to heat the gas, that's okay too. We may have to configure this by a computer, but we can turn it on a wall heater. But we're going to need to control that. Probably set up a similar kind of electronic system as the one in here, behind here, to say compare this to a known good value. So let's say 20, or in the case of Kelvin, it'll be 293-ish, 0.15, but let's not go there. So 293 Kelvin. If this is lower than 293 Kelvin, turn on the heater, otherwise turn it off. Now you've seen that previous electronics. I probably won't construct the thing on camera, but I may well show you it just so you've got an idea. So the wall heater is there, and we also have a wall cooler. Are you again going to need just one input? It looks like you are. So we could have two systems, probably both off the same cable, and I'm probably not going to put it there. I'm going to put it somewhere else on a wall because it's not anywhere near the ventilation system, and then we'll just control both of them with some electronics. But I'll probably do that next episode. It's coming up to time anyway, so we've got 23 kPa, and it's -4 degrees, but it is breathable. And what are you set to at the moment? 11, so you should be on. You are. And you're pretty much static or building slightly, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to play around with these values just to see which ones actually work, even though the things that are supposed to set to are supposed to actually work. So now, if we hit our airlock for the first time, it should, because our airlock is 23 kPa as well, we should be able to depressurize. See how fast it is. Down it goes. And that seemed either awfully fast or it let some of the air out. Okay, let's cycle to the interior. Let's see how fast it takes to pressurize. Can it pressurize us here? Unfortunately, it's going to try and go for 101, which the room is not at 101. So if it can't get there, it's at 10. If it can't get there, it's never going to complete. And that's okay. So what we're going to have to do is probably pressurize, in order for this airlock to work, have that room at least 50. And then this airlock will probably be able to complete with it when it's got that much air. Remember, we can just... well, it's going to take it out of that room, isn't it? So let's just cancel out this pressurization. It's going to rush out of here. And it's going to rush back into the room. Okay, and why don't we just pull this out of here? Let's see what we get. There we go. Okay, we're up at 43, 44. And let's set you to be, let's say 51. So don't do anything unless we pass 51. We'll see if it's any good at doing so. Are you now finished? Is it rising? Let's have a look at the computer. And the battery's dead. Okay, well, we're at 36. It's at minus 40 in here. That tank out there in the colder vacuum, well away from the sun, appears to have quite a low temperature. Okay, it's minus 40. I think let's just turn on the wall heater, shall we? And let's turn off you. Let's see if we can get this to a sane temperature, and I'll do that off camera. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We've got a filtration system fully set up now. It's going to take air from over there, pull it into the filtration system where we get the oxygen back. The oxygen is going to come down into here and output into the room, or at least our base eventually, but the room for now. We can see its current pressure, and what I could do once we're able to just deal with it a little bit better is put some back pressure regulators for 10K. Not 10K. Is it 10K? Yeah, 10K for the canisters, I guess, and also for the pipes, just to make sure that if this goes too high, then they will void into another tank or even into space. And we're going to probably have to do that to all of the various lines, just so that we don't have any overpressure problems in our filtration system. But that's for another time. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to give it a thumbs up if you have. And if you've got any suggestions for how we might accomplish a better draft than this across the system, just to keep this room nice and healthy, then do let me know. I'm more than happy to see them in the comments. See you next time, and thanks for watching.